Welcome to Real Talk with Karia Christopher, the conversation. Our new season is filled with heart-to-heart dialogues, always unscripted and always unedited. We tackle issues from the bedroom to the boardroom. No topic is left unturned. We inspire and we ignite. We go where no one else dares, but always with dignity and flair. Join us for a new season of Real Talk as we learn, love, and laugh together. Hello, BVI. Hello, Caribbean. And of course, hello, world. It is such a delight to bring to you a brand new season of Real Talk with Karia Christopher, where this season we laugh, we love, we live, we learn, and we uplift. It's been really a stressful year and a half to 2 years. I think we can all agree that this global pandemic has put us in a tailspin, and the BVI is not immune to anything that happens. And so we thought here at the studios it would be really great to have some uplifting stories and to see how life really continues behind of the scene. And speaking of pandemics, we think that, we thought really that there would be no other guest that we can have this feel-good story where we really kind of highlight these ladies who have been doing so much work behind the scenes. I'm pleased to introduce to you two of my great friends that I know them for years and years and years. Miss Stacey Lloyd of the BVI Red Cross and Miss Gloria A Fahie, the BVI Cancer Society. Good day, ladies. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me, Karia, and good day to everyone in our British Virgin Islands.
And the world, child. Yes, Gloria.
And thanks also for having Gloria A Fahie, President of the BVI Cancer Society.
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is awesome.
President in your pink. So let's start with you, Madam President. So we are in October. We will try to have this show air this month. But coincidentally, it is Breast Cancer Month. And you, as I said to you, every time I see you, I just congratulate you on how you have normalized the language of cancer, specifically with women, really with anyone. It used to be almost an embarrassment, which I never could understand. But I'm going to give you the credit, whether you take it or not, of transforming that space where we learn so much more about what cancer does and try to help folk that unfortunately have to battle this illness. Talk to me about why you decided to get into the BVI Cancer Association.
So I always tell my story. One day I was on the street and the BVI Cancer Society at that time approached me for membership. And I said to myself, these people are always harassing you on the street. So I just automatically gave that $25 membership. And lo and behold, later on, I became diagnosed with breast cancer.
You didn't even have it at that point?
No,
okay.
I didn't even have it at that point. So when I was diagnosed and when I came back, I decided that I am going to make a difference with the BVI Cancer Society.
Wow, and a difference indeed you have made. And we will get into a lot about one of the things that you're doing. I know there was a walk today and so many other things, a movie last night. But I want to switch gears to Stacey just for a minute. Now, Stacey, I know you a very long time now. And I remember you telling me, I'm not going to be working at XYZ anymore. I'm going to head up the BVI Red Cross. And I paused. Guys, a pregnant pause. I wasn't sure how to respond because I've never seen the BVI Red Cross as a space where I thought that somebody young could work and enjoy and thrive. Lo and behold, there goes Stacey and just made it to be, I don't want to say a rock star place to work, but that's what it is. Talk to me about why you felt that you had that need for service above self. That's a difficult space to make your full-time employment. What led you to want to take that charge on? Real big charge, I might say.
Well, I think it goes back to my faith as a Catholic. We believe in giving back to the needy. So it was something that has always been instilled in me. And I have been a part of different nonprofits like BVI Cancer Society. In fact, when Gloria became president, I rallied around Gloria, and I was her PR officer for many years. And together, her and I and other members turned the Cancer Society. So it's always been a part of me. I've been a part of the HIV Foundation, Zanta. So having or doing anything to do with humanitarian and giving back has always been a space in my life. At the time when I did decide to take the leap to BVI Red Cross, it was because I didn't feel like I was utilizing my full potential.
Wow.
Not just in terms of my purpose in giving back, but my skill set. I felt like I was stuck and I wanted to do more with the skills that I had acquired over the year. And I wanted to go in a space where I was able to give back and make a difference in a community. So when the opportunity became available, I didn't see it just like how you saw it. But I said, God, you have to lead me. You're leading me to something. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to accept the challenge. And I accept it. And it has been the best decision that I have decided to make in my life.
I
Absolutely.
believe you 100%. And Gloria, before I get back to you, let's just talk a little bit about the type of energy and dedication it takes to lead an organization like the Red Cross. It's traditionally been more of a space with more seasoned women. I have to say, I've never seen a man head it up yet, but if I'm wrong, I'm sure they'll call me, correct me, or write me up and tell me. And it's not been a terribly exciting phase. You give clothes that you don't need anymore, or supplies, and it's all real feel good. But in my mind, the purpose of it was never really broadcast like how it is now. Hence the pandemic. And there goes a BVI Red Cross being such a great space now, even more so. Talk to me about the process about the pandemic, and we had the country closed off, persons not being able to eat, not being able to work, just being overwhelmed with what this whole existence, this new life has brought. How did the BVI Red Cross help in that space?
Well, actually, I was in the post of director 3 months prior to the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And I had just came back from our head office in London. In fact, the day before the country closed down. So I was completely new in the role in Red Cross. I just came back from this very strong orientation about what my role as director is and what the BVI Red Cross is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Boom, this pandemic happened. So I'm new as a director. I'm new in Red Cross, and this is a new pandemic. So it was all these challenges that we had to deal with. And just like you, a lot of persons didn't understand what we do.
Yeah.
And the BVI Red Cross, our mission is to prepare, respond, and recover from crisis. So a pandemic is a crisis.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's just a crisis that we never had to deal with in 100 years.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, I have been blessed with this amazing team of humanitarians. I mean, hands down, just wants to help. They don't care. They're going to get in the trenches. And I had to kind of rally persons around, but I had to let them know this is a pandemic. It's new, social distancing. I know you want to help. And then our biggest strength as well is that we are an auxiliary to government. So we have to step in that space, normalize things, and then the government, comes in and do what they had to do. So basically what we did was make sure that the food supply, persons couldn't go out. We liaison with social development and DDM, and we provided that space to give food. So we were the ones who were going to different homes and giving, a nutritional meal to each person.
Nice.
And then once government kind of, got everything together, they came in. And so it was a good opportunity for me. I call it baptism by fire.
That certainly was that.
Yeah, so,
to get into the trenches of what the Red Cross does.
Yes, and of course, a team, staff, volunteers, a new pandemic. So it really was this awesome opportunity for me to say, yes, this is for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, how that makes you feel, and how you knew that was the right space, because it has to be a calling for you to do it and to do it effectively. Hence, let me switch gears to Miss Gloria. Now, Gloria, you are very vocal on social media. You use it to the benefit of, I believe, the Cancer Society, because I don't think one can exist without the other. Being the head of the Cancer Society can be, how do I say? I want to say stressful, but I don't mean stressful. It's a heavy title because you see and you get to know and love people who are sick. and you feel their pain. And having been a cancer thriver, you now understand what the process is. But what does that do to your mental health? How do you keep that energy going, knowing that if there's a person or persons, unfortunately, with stage 4 cancer, it's an uphill battle? How do you keep that support going? And how do you give them, at least your part, in keeping that energy alive and giving them hope?
It's not an easy process, but I have to do it. I have to do it because myself being a survivor, I understand most of what persons are going through, and it's not easy. It's very hard to look in someone's face and you realize that you are dying. But I never portray the feeling that you're actually dying. I portray the feeling that there is hope. So that's something I will always preach. I just say, going right down to the last minute, I portray hope. And we need to help persons in this community. It's not only Red Cross, but all the NPOs. We need to unite. We need to join together and help one another. Some person think, oh, this is cancer and it's cancer alone, or diabetes and diabetes. I think we all should work as a unit, as a whole, and help the persons in this community. There's a lot of persons suffering in this community. It's unbelievable. There's a lot of persons virtually homeless. There's a lot of persons not having a nutritious meal. And during the pandemic, it wasn't about only a cancer survivor, because I don't know if Red Cross knows, but we help a lot of persons who were needy. We gave out food vouchers. This was unprecedented.
This is a cancer society.
This is
you're
a
saying?
cancer society,
Oh, okay. I didn't know
but there
that.
were persons, we don't, advertise a lot of things, but we help a lot of persons in the community, because I feel it's not the government alone. It's not Red Cross alone. It should be all of us trying to help persons who are needy in this community.
Assistance. Now, we talked a little bit before the camera started to roll about you are the president of the Cancer Society in the BVI, but persons more so correlate you with just breast cancer. Given that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we'll talk about the other cancers shortly, a lot of language is happening, a lot of information is out there reminding folks to get their yearly mammogram, but we see breast cancer striking people younger and younger and younger. What are you doing as the head of the BVI Cancer Society to encourage all residents to go ahead and have their yearly mammogram? How are you getting that message brought across?
I can't say it enough, because sometimes when I look around and I saw persons, not only breast cancer, it could be colon cancer, it could be any cancers. When they really go to a doctor, they're at stage 4 of, and the early detection saves, like, I can't say, I say all how, and people are still not listening. You understand? So we get that message by disseminating information. All the fairs and health fairs I go to, I talk about it. And I talk and I talk and I talk. Real talk. But some people, they're just not listening. Cancer don't have to be a taboo. Cancer is a sickness, and we'll treat it as a sickness.
Correct.
If you're sick, you go and get healed. And one other thing, you have to talk about your disease. I always say, talking is healing. Because I talked and I talk and I talk. I came out and got a show, and he didn't believe that I had breast cancer. Anybody could have breast cancer or any of the cancers. None of us are immune. So we're gonna keep putting that message out there. We send it on WhatsApp. We send it on Facebook, whatever. I hope Facebook don't shut down again, because that's how we get most of our messages out there.
Oh, okay.
So we get that message out there, and I would be so tired and so stressed, but I don't mind. I do not turn down anything that has to do with cancer. I make the time. Like right now, I'm extremely tired. I went to the governor's function last night. First thing this morning, I went to the walk. Last night when I came home, I was boiling eggs. I do whatever is necessary to push the cause of cancer and to help people realize there is help out there. You only have to take it.
So talking about health, Stacy, everybody feels that the Red Cross is set up to help. Help when you're struggling, perhaps when you don't have a job, you need somewhere that lend of support to feed your kids, to help pay the bills or whatever. How do you manage? Because in every good thing, you're going to have that negative thing that crawls in with persons who try to abuse the system. Are you equipped to be able to manage persons who may be trying to abuse the system? And if yes, how do you monitor that? Because it's such a fine line in trying to assess the real needs of people who certainly are in need versus persons who want and can actually help themselves.
Yeah, it happens, but I would say that we have this very amazing relationship with the social development department, which is just next door. So Stacy Stout and I, we always bounce information.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so when persons come to me, like I explain to them the function of the BVI Red Cross. We are an auxiliary to government. So we normally will send them to social development first. They do the assessment, and if they can provide them with assistance, they would. If not, they can send them to us. So it's always that partnership with the social development department that acts as the first layer of assessing persons' need. We do have a fund that we use in very particular situations, such as there are undocumented persons living in the country. So these persons, are here illegally. And we have a principle called impartiality. So we don't close the door to anyone.
Anyone can come.
Right. And there's a level of confidentiality. So we won't turn those persons over to the authority. And that fund we use to give to those persons who are in need, who can't get help and won't go to the government because the government can't help them. But in most times, we do work with the social development department, and we have our own criteria in terms of assessments. We go out to their homes, we ask for documentation, we verify it with the different organizations to ensure that these persons are really, really in need. I think the message is more clear in terms of what we do. So I would say that the need or persons who aren't really in need coming has really dropped a lot because people understand. I think the PR part of what we do is out there more so, and persons understand. So I'm not seeing a lot of that happening like before.
So let me ask you a question. In terms of your funding and how you get it, how does that work? Because I know you are under the government's tutelage, the governor, I believe. Tell us how that works. Tell the audience, how are you sustaining yourself?
Yeah, for 65 years, actually.
Yeah.
And this is our 65th anniversary.
Wow.
And, we are a branch of the British Red Cross. The British Red Cross is a national society. We are not a national society because we are a territory of the United Kingdom.
All right.
And so British Red Cross falls under the International Federation of Red Cross, Red Crescent. What that means is that there's a Red Cross in every area, every part of the world. And every country has a national society, and everybody now heads up to the federation. So American Red Cross is a society by themselves,
Okay.
British Red Cross. And so we get funding from our head office, British Red Cross. We do tons of fundraising, our thrift shop, first aid classes. We have a home health care class. We sell first aid kits. We actually have medical equipment rental.
Oh,
We have.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we
Go
do
ahead.
if you need crutches or you need wheelchairs, boots, any type of medical devices. We have those at an affordable rate. We have two conference rooms that we rent at a very affordable rate as well. And we also rent chairs, tables. And in fact, we're looking to bring on some more courses because we've partnered with American Red Cross to do like a babysitting certified course. So you
Yes,
actually
we
come
need
to
that,
us,
yeah.
you get certified. We do advanced level first aid, and we're also trying to bring in an emergency response course. So it's like a same level as an EMT course.
Really?
Yes.
So this is good information to know, because I always wanted to know, well, how do you guys get funded? How do you sustain yourself? And obviously somebody that's young and very innovative like you gotta get creative. And I am seriously impressed with some of those things that I did not even know. I need to get certified as a CPR.
Yes.
We're going to get CPR training because I literally think that's something that every human being on the planet needs to know how to do. So, Gloria, we're going to switch gears right back to you. I remember years and years ago, you were on my show, and we spoke about the process of you going through cancer treatment, and that was quite a few years ago, and you are here and not only surviving but thriving. But as a thriver and cancer still being very prevalent, do you think that the process is easier on you mentally and emotionally? Because I know it's a grueling process. What do you, in terms of the healthcare system, how has that industry improved in your mind from when you were diagnosed to now?
I would say so. I would say that it has improved. I mean, we had, since then, we had NHI coming on stream in 2016. So that is much better because back then we used to do self-examination.
Yeah.
Nurse would come in and do it,
Yeah.
but now with NHI, you could actually, they could actually support the mammogram. So I would say it's a little better. Going to the doctors that you really want to go to is
Gonna
not
get to
that
that.
good.
That's what I'm going to
But
get to now, yeah.
I was lucky in the sense that when NHI came on stream, I was allowed to continue to see my doctors. Whoever was seeing the doctors at that time were allowed to continue. But sometimes it's kind of difficult because most persons have family different places and you want to be with your family. You
Yeah.
want that person to be comfortable
Yeah.
in their mind, and that's a big thing that I don't think we really look at because you don't want to stress that patient any further because cancer loves stress. People should be
That is
feeling
true.
comfortable, but with all insurances around the world, I don't think it'll go where you want to go, but some kind of consideration should be given.
I know that you're very vocal in whatever space that you're in. So, what concerns me the most, and this is not a dip on the healthcare system here. I know that we're a very small territory, but there has not been one soul that I know that can get fully treated locally for any kind of cancer. It always involves some sort of overseas treatment, which one is very expensive. Two, that emotional level of security that you need can't because you can't take your entire family with you. How can we as a community increase the appearance of better trained local staffing in the oncology department? Do you think it's about time we get is it oncology, right?
Yes.
Yes, oncology department because it is a sickness that spares no territory. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I might get in trouble for this, but I think we're growing too many lawyers. We need to start focusing on some doctors because without your health care in the BVI, what do you have? We have to focus more on the health issues because of course we have Dr. Habdi that comes over from St. Thomas, nice doctor, but you can't even do radiology here, radiation
Yeah.
treatment. So yes, we need to start focusing on our own. We could find monies for. I look around on the Facebook. I see finding monies for all kind of things. I just want the government to focus more on the health of the nation. We need it.
Sorry, go
We
ahead.
desperately need the government to focus more on health.
BVI Camera in the World. This broadcast has been kindly sponsored by Flow. We'll be back in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. How can you connect with people authentically from the heart? Nothing replaces the human connection better than communication. And nothing will be able to get you further along than to connect with other people. Today, I am offering you personalized one-on-one coaching on public speaking, negotiation, body language, all the necessary tools to make an impactful statement. It's about shoulders back, head straight, mastering the power pose, and giving your audience of 1, 100, or even 1,000 the biggest impact that you can dream of. I take you on a personalized journey in a private setting, holding your mic, standing at the lectern, and being authentically you, true to yourself, being a better communicator. My services will ensure that you are prepared for your next job interview, accepting a public contract, speaking at a wedding, a campaign event, addressing the boardroom. The possibilities are endless. We will ensure that you are prepared and ready to shine no matter the audience. My many years in front of the camera with thousands of interviews, hundreds of hosting engagements, dozens of boardroom deliveries, and yes, my certifications have prepared me to teach you the tricks of the trade and prepare you for your next big step in life. I cannot think of anything in life where communication is not important. I am Karia Christopher of the Cham Academy, where we will make your voice your best asset to help you succeed. Call us today.
When your dog rolls over, does it give you double data? Nope, but Flow prepaid mobile plans do. Simply stay topped up and you'll get double data when your Flow 7-day prepaid plan renews. That's up to 6 gigs for you to enjoy. Top up today. Now that's a good plan. Dial *129# to activate and stay topped up. Conditions apply.
We are back in our second half of Real Talk with Karia Christopher as we celebrate these two dynamic women and what they are doing to just normalize the language, the lingo, everything about giving back. And we left talking about what a tough space it is. It could be emotionally really tough and physically really tough as well. But Stacey, let's get back to the Red Cross. What can the community do to help you? Because unless there is a crisis, we forget about the Red Cross. I remember I was president of the Rotary Club of Tortola during Hurricanes Irma and Maria, and I had such fancy plans for my year, and boom, we had a hurricane. But let me tell you, it was, to me, the best thing that could happen for me in the presidency, because I got to go out into the community and give food, and man, the smiles on your faces and water, and it just made you feel good. I don't know that I'm built for that full time, but I understand very good what it takes to do that sort of stuff. But the question is now, how do we keep the momentum up? What are the challenges that you have? Because we only look for these things when we have a full crisis. But then we know that based on what you said earlier, we have the undocumented people, perhaps persons in domestic situation. There's always something that we don't know about. So what are your challenges and how can we help?
Well, of course, funding is always an issue. But sometimes I feel money is not really the issue.
Okay.
Having persons with the right skill set and who understands the assignment. So volunteers from different walks of life, and again, who understands the assignment. So they really want to help and they really want to give back. I think that's one. Like Gloria mentioned earlier, partnering with other NPOs. I think there's strength in numbers. It's easy for me to work with Gloria because I've worked with Gloria before. So I could pick up the phone and I could say, Gloria, listen, we're doing our men's prostate, and she's on board, vice versa. I could remember for the vaccination drive-through. We basically, again, it's a crisis. We came forward, and Gloria called me one day. She's like, Stacey, I buying y'all lunch. She wrote a check for all the volunteers who were there and drop off the check, so she understands the assignment. So it's that, again, having that network of persons, NPOs involved to carry out our vision and our mission, which all of us are working towards humanity. And last, I think it's I believe in succession. I guess it's my HR background.
Yeah.
So investing in the young people from in school and letting them understand about community service, what it means, how it makes you feel, and how it improves our community. I'm seeing a lot of it now. A lot of the volunteers that are coming in our space are high school teenage. In fact, my staff, I think is the oldest one. Everybody else is 27 and under.
Oh, wow.
So I have a very young, energetic, creative crew, and they allow me to thrive as well. But again, they understand the assignment because they were involved in some type of community service. Luckily for us, they were involved in Red Cross, and they realized, I want to work here and I want to make a difference. So those three things I think could support our mission of helping persons to prepare, respond, and to recover from
I
crisis.
love it. Let me just take you back a little bit before I get back to Gloria in terms of the pandemic. And I watched you guys live on Facebook and all of the other social media, literally there on the trenches, under the tent, rain, mud, sleet, in the vaccination drive. I know that the government had deemed it a success because I think like everywhere in the world, the resistance to vaccines was just unprecedented. But to see you, I saw you there. To me, what is a more challenging situation than even a hurricane, because just breathing can kill you at this point. It takes a special kind of person to go out there and be involved in the physicality of what that is. How did that make you feel when you were there in the rain, in the slush, and just the drive through and trying to get persons to vaccinate?
I felt very like I was living in my purpose. And I'm not saying it just for saying it so. It was hard to get persons to mobilize to respond to that particular crisis because, again, you hearing all, if I don't have on my mask. And at that time, this vaccination drive, that's when the numbers had went up. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so rallying and motivating and encouraging the vaccinated volunteers to come out was hard, but they came out. And I think that is what leaders do. It's not a matter of, it wasn't about me. It wasn't about my daughter particularly. It was about the country at that time and just digging deep into our volunteers and staff and saying, guys, this is what you sign up for. This is what we need to do. And they came out, and the first day wasn't easy, Carrie. It was a little chaotic, but once we got the mechanism rolling, the tents up, the vaccine, it just started to roll. And more volunteers actually came out because more persons got the courage. They understood, okay, once we double mask, we sanitize, we're going to be okay. And it was outside literally, so you couldn't really get that contamination.
You're not indoors in a confined space.
Yeah.
So I get it. Let me congratulate you on that because I thought it was amazing because as I said, not everybody is comfortable doing it. And you said your calling was to go and head up that's a monster calling. I don't know anyone under the age of 60 that would say something like that. So I think I want to congratulate you on taking that big, bold step and really celebrating the process of giving back. We're not done with you yet, but I'm switching gears back to Miss Gloria. Gloria, cancer, pandemic, not a good combination.
No, it's
How
not.
did that affect your purpose, especially given that we here in the BVI are still very resistant to the vaccine? I don't know what your sense is on that. I would like to hear, and there's no right or wrong answer, but I know as a population, persons are very resistant to the vaccine. Science has proven, if you believe in science, that the vaccine will save lives. However, we know that pre-existing conditions such as cancer will be deadly. How has that affected your purpose and your drive and trying to promote that message, if you have, about the vaccination process?
You yourself have to believe in science. You yourself have to believe that this vaccination is going to work. I have two detrimental underlying conditions, which is being a diabetic, number one, and being a cancer survivor. I believe in the vaccination. I consulted my doctor. He said, it's okay to go and take it. And I did it. I felt fine. I had no adverse reaction or anything like that. Cancer has taken a back burner to COVID. When the pandemic started, everything with Cancer Society or person diagnosed with cancers around the world basically halted. Everything you hear is COVID.
Yeah.
You couldn't go to a hospital. I don't know if you realize that.
I know.
They're still having problems accessing care for cancer patients in the whole world. You
Yeah.
know, so it's horrible. And we halted for a moment. Is this pandemic caught us like unawares? We didn't know whether to turn left or to turn right. And then I got up one day and I called up our executive. I said, look, we cannot we cannot allow the pandemic to stop us. We have to stay focused. We know what our purpose is. And there's 3 C's that I live by, right? You have to be concerned, you have to be caring, and you have to be committed. And we showed that we were committed, and we went out there and we assisted persons. And then persons eventually started applying for assistance to Cancer Society again. So I am very happy about that. You can't stop. You got to keep going.
As somebody who went through the process, whether it's breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, what has been the most difficult time in that process for you? Is it emotional? Is it physical? Is it monetary? What can persons who know people or who are going through the process expect?
Well, when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was building my house at that time. I was BROKE, broke, you know. But if you have an employer,
Yeah.
a good employer that would back you and support you, I had that with my employers. You know, they wrote a check and they helped me.
I want to work with you again.
They wrote a check, but thank God I didn't have to touch that check
Yeah.
because I was one of the first person in Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital that came in with I think it was the Southern Atlantic Insurance at that time,
Yes.
and I started that process. You have to have your family have to be there for you, to support you, to be there for you, because it's a very emotional process. I remember just after I went to Dr. Penn and I got my diagnosis, I was so out. When he told me, I said nothing. It was like, he's not really speaking to me. But when I went back to work, and I was leaving work in the afternoon, it hit me. It hit me that I drove off automatically and matched up somebody else.
Oh, wow.
But I had this friend in the insurance, like calling my son Keegan Seja, and he took care of all my insurance needs with that kind, everything. I had some very supportive family in New York. I went there. I was able to see a well-renowned doctor who didn't know anything about me. My cousin who worked in the hospital got me in, and the process. You have to have family and friends who will be there to support
That's
you
important, a
100%.
support system.
And you also have some persons, you love them still, but you don't really need them in your life. They're very discouraging.
Yeah.
They come to you with some discouraging sentiments. You need positive persons
I like that.
around you.
I like that.
You know? So all those things are very
I
good
love
to
that
have.
you're so honest and refreshing. Stacey, I'll get to you again in a minute, but I wanted to ask you, you are a breast cancer thriver. I've known many persons with breast cancer and are able to live just like you, an active, fantastic life, and praise God of technology. The prospect of women holding on to the breast, and I see the close up on me now, let me see that. Child. It's something I don't quite understand, and I don't want to be judgmental, but if one has breast cancer and the option is there to remove the breast versus having radiation or all of those other very tough medical treatments, why is it that women, and I don't know if you can answer this, but I've seen such a trend where women prefer to go through radiation and chemo than remove the breast? What is happening there that, are we missing? I don't know if it's a miseducation. I don't know if it's women just holding on to their femininity. I don't know if it's lack of education. I'm not familiar with the space, but I would always want to know what's happening there if you get an option early on to remove the breast, kill the cancer, and survive, but we choose still to go through that. And I'm not judging because obviously I'm not in the situation. So, but tell me from your perspective, what do you see there?
Well, let me speak from my own personal point of view.
Yeah.
It's not easy to lose a breast.
Okay.
It's not easy not to wear your Victoria's Secrets, because I was famous for I always say my breast is my best asset.
Oh, wow.
And women love the breast. It's a part of your femininity, and they don't want to lose their breast. But you have to look at it in a positive way. You want to lose your breast? You want to have your breast? or you want to have your life. You have to make up your mind what you want to do and get over it.
Oh, so it's really more from your perspective, women just trying to hold on to their femininity. And I'm
Yes,
not judging that at all, so I suppose I understand how that is.
yeah, they would feel less of a woman without the breast.
Really?
Yes, they do.
I just never
I
thought of it like that.
Yes, and I had one couple. I really tried with this couple because the lady lost her breast, and the husband could not. He could not accept it. He would not.
Really?
Yes, and
Really?
they end up separating.
So between the choice of life and something as, in my mind, as superficial as a breast,
Yes,
you can tattoo some nipples on. Oh, and
You
I
could-
know that because I have a friend
yeah.
that did it, and she looks great.
you could do
So-
you could do anything, but sometimes I really have to question: did you really love me? Because was you loving my breasts? Are you loving what's in here? And that's how I think about it. Because love conquers all.
All, yeah. And leave it to my good dear friend Gloria to tell us like it is, because it is something that people are very touchy on.
Yes.
And this is real talk.
Yes.
So I wanted to be able to address those issues that I know that some folks are grappling with. And I also want to educate myself so that I'm not judging anybody. I don't want to be judgmental, because you don't know it unless you live it. So by educating people and normalizing the language, normalizing just having a mammogram, when I had my first mammogram, I expected the worst because I had heard so much horror stories. I don't know if something wrong with me, but it wasn't that bad. I was like, oh, you done? I was like, maybe because I have a little bit more bountiful in the top, that it wasn't as uncomfortable as I envisioned it. But it's really about normalizing the process and the language and supporting each other in that space. And even outside of breast cancer, we have ovarian cancer and cervical cancer. People hate to go and get a pap smear. Why? I mean, I understand why, because it sucks. But we understand the adverse effects of what it is. And so, Gloria, I thank you for kind of taking that mantle, because I didn't know about the BVI Cancer Society before you came on. Not taking away what anybody else did, but I'm just saying that it is a fact that you have created a space where you have saved so many lives by talking about it, helping to fund the illnesses that go with it, fundraising and all of those kind of stuff, and we can't discount that. But Madam Stacy, prettiest person I've ever known to work in the Red Cross, but and certainly the youngest. How do we get more people to volunteer in that space? I think I know a lot of people, and I don't know if I know one person that volunteers at the Red Cross. And if I'm familiar with the people, they're not persons that I grew up with. They're not really belongers of beaver and landers. Why?
Well, it's the history of the Red Cross. Prior to me coming on, I think everybody would remember the director of the Red Cross to be Idris O'Neill.
Absolutely.
So Idris was the premier's wife, and so she had persons at her age group that were volunteers,
That made more
and
sense,
she was the
yes.
director for 20 plus years.
Was she?
Yes. So that's why right now, well, the mixture is changing now.
Yeah.
That's why for a long time, you and I wouldn't have known anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Helen came on stream. She was there for about 6-7 years. And so I came on, and one of my assignments is to diversify the membership. So we want males, we want females, we want young, we want older, we want to phase out the older ones, because we have some stalwarts like Eugenie Glasgow, who has been volunteering for 42 years and still volunteering, and Astrid, who's also a member of BVI Red Cross, who have positioned us to be where we are 65 years later, and they have a wealth of institutional knowledge. But it's time to take the Red Cross to that next level in terms of persons understanding the mission, like I said, and getting a young, creative membership, volunteer base. Right now, we have a membership drive going on. We always have open to membership. But I think also the criteria to become a volunteer was very a little too strict.
Really?
Yeah, it was. You had to do a membership application, police report, code of conduct, all these. So that was a deterrent as well.
Of course.
Because I think too, a lot of persons didn't understand what the Red Cross does. We go out into the community, we go out into people's homes. So we have to make sure that you are trained in life-saving activities for first aid, advanced first aid, all these different things. So we didn't want to bring in persons who weren't equipped,
Understood. That makes
but
sense.
we realized that we can teach you these things as you become volunteers. And we're now going back into the schools in terms of Junior Red Cross, because we want to start planting that seed. And also when I look at the other national societies within the Caribbean, man, they are where I want us to be, like our part Cayman, Turks and Caicos, who are overseas territories, and they have such a large presence in the community, especially with the young people.
Yeah.
So those are the things I look at, and those are the things, and it's definitely on my list of goals. And it's actually written into our 5-year strategy. We do have a strategy, and I have this committed board right now who are very supportive of everything I do. And my team, they are so, I can't.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I look at them, I see them, and I see the smiles on their face. I know what you're looking for is phenomenal, because I was like, wow.
They're fun, and like I said, they really want to go out and change the world.
She said fun. I've never ever expected to hear the word fun with Red
Red
Cross.
Cross, yeah, they're fun.
But this is wonderful. Ladies, we have to wrap up. Believe it or not, an hour has gone already. Time flies when you're having fun. But, Miss Gloria, you used the word such as legacy. I'm going to give Stacey a little chance to get her thoughts together. But the question I absolutely wanted to ask you two ladies is, when you are no longer here, and I am not killing any of y'all, but because of the work that you do, you impact so many lives and persons, no matter the race, the creed, the age, this is what you do. What would you like your legacy to be?
I would, like I said before, I would like people to remember me. I would like people to remember the work that I have done, because I am like a Duracell bunny. I keep on going and going and going. And I want people to understand that cancer is just a sickness, an ailment. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a taboo subject. Let's go on, let's move forward. Let's take Cancer Society, like Miss Lloyd said, to the highest level. We have like probably 60-something volunteers, but most time you only see less than 10. We just don't want persons to volunteer to be on paper, to be on the resume. Like I said, we need caring
Active
people.
volunteers.
We need active volunteers.
Understood.
But, sometimes, I get real depressed sometimes, because I would like to see more. But we are volunteers.
Well, for whatever it takes, I think you're doing an amazing job. And perhaps you don't hear it enough. But without you and your supportive board and all of the volunteers, we would be in a lot more challenging space when it comes to cancer. So congrats to you. You know how I feel about what you do. You've known that for a while now.
Yes.
And whatever I can do as an individual, with anything that I have, any of my businesses, I am happy to help as much as I can. Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate you kind of just giving us insight and being real as only Gloria could be. Miss Stacy, your legacy, youngest director, beautiful director who had a calling. What would your legacy be?
I wanted to be that she tried. She tried to make a difference. She lived for humanity.
Wow.
And of course, I want my legacy to live on through my daughter. And I do it, yes, because it's something that's in me, but it's also something that I want her to have and to do in her life. I want her to look at mom and say, I want to be like mom. And she understands about humanity, about giving back, about kindness. It's not about just doing things. You do things to help other people and help humanity. And that's what I want my legacy to be.
Listen to you. We love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the beautiful Miss Stacy Lloyd and wonderful, no holds bar, Miss Gloria A Fahie. We salute you ladies here on Real Talk as you give back, as you give your life, your soul, your heart, your body, your time. And today is a Saturday, and I know it's a busy day for the both of y'all, but I thank you so much for taking time out, for coming and kind of educating us more about what you do. And perhaps you don't say it enough, but we recognize and know in this space, and I know not only with tragedies, and we don't say it enough, we recognize the wonderful works of these non-profit organizations, especially the Cancer Society and the BVI Red Cross. So from all of us here at the studios, I am your host, Real Talk. We want to say thank you, ladies, for all that you do. BVI, Caribbean, the world, we appreciate you giving us that hour of your time once a week, and we never ever take this job not seriously. We appreciate Flo for being our premier sponsor, and we hope that we can educate, inspire as we live and we laugh and we learn together here on Real Talk. I am your host, Karia Christopher, saying God bless you all and have a wonderful week. Real Talk is proudly powered by Flo, sponsored by Nagico Insurances.